I'm gonna show you how to open a 30 GB Zune without damaging any parts. The first, you're required to use screwdrivers, but make sure they're precision, the little small ones. You need a flat and a Phillips. You can find these at the 99-cent store, Home Depot, Lowe's, or any Ace, anything like that. And the pry tools, you'll need pry tools to open electronics, and you can find these on eBay for like $3. Doesn't matter if they're brand or anything. If you don't want to go buy these, you could just use a credit card or a little plastic. But make sure it's plastic because it won't damage your case. The first step is to remove the USB bezel. It should pop out easily. Once you have popped it out, remove the two bottom screws. My screwdrivers are magnetic, so that's why I could take them out easily. Once you have taken them out, put your Zune down on a. Make sure not on a rough surface because you could mess it up. Now just put the pry tool and just pop it up, and it should pop out easily. Once it pops out from the back, just slide it down your plastic or your pry tool, and it should open it easily. Once it has opened, remove the back. Lift up the battery latch gently because it could damage your battery latch and it could mess up your charge. The first step you'll do inside is remove the battery cage screws. Now once you're done, you just pop up that part. Now just on the bottom part, make sure you screw it off the screws. Once you're done, you can use your, if it doesn't want to pop up, you can use your pry tool or your flat screwdriver, but don't put it towards any other part. Once it lifts up, just take out your screws. Make sure that the bigger screws are the ones that go inside. The little ones are from the bottom. Not just, once you're done with that, you can use your pry tool. I had to replace my hard drive, so that's why it doesn't have the tape, but yours would have the tape if it's the first time you open it. Once you open it, you just put your pry tool and it should rip the tape through on the sides. It'll contain gold tape on each side, so you just lift it up and it'll cut the bottom. And the other side will continue, you just lift it up and cut the bottom too. Once you're done, just take off the hard drive. Once you remove the hard drive and battery cage, just put off the side. The hard drive, get the pry tool and just lift it up the latch gently because you could break your part or something or damage your cable. Just put off the side. Your motherboard will contain 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just remove each and one of them. And it will allow you to move your motherboard. To remove it off. Once you're done, lift up your battery latch from the controls, your controls latch. It's where the other ribbon's at. Just lift it up gently, because if you lift it up too hard, it will damage your latch and it will not read the cables correctly anymore. Now just lift up your motherboard. Make sure you don't lift it up too hard because you could take off or mess up the bottom parts. It will contain 2 clips on the bottom and 2 on the top. The bottom ones just pop on with your fingers. Once it pops up, you can slide it up gently. Once you're done, lift up your latch where the cable goes with the pry tool. Make sure it's gently because that part is so sensitive it could break. Just pull it out. And just put your motherboard aside. If you have any trouble with these parts, I'll show you how to install them right now. Put them back together. The first button is the back button. Just make sure how it goes. Just align it correctly. Once it's aligned correctly, get the ring from your enter button and align it correctly too. Do the same thing. And now the enter button, just align it correctly. Do the same thing. Once you're done with that, just make sure everything's in order. Just check. Now the pause button is the last button that will go. Make sure it goes correctly. Make sure it's on correctly. Just push the buttons from the bottom to see if it goes correctly. Once everything's correctly, first step, you'll get your gray plastic and make sure the bottom opening, the one that has the bottom opening, goes on the bottom. It's facing down. The one with the side popping up, that one is the one that goes on the bottom. Once you're done, you put your ribbon on top of the pins. Make sure it's aligned. Once it's aligned, just put the little black strip on top of the ribbon. Now just put the metal part on top of it. Once you're done, get your motherboard and your screen or install the part you need, and I'll show you how to install it while I'm assembling it again. Make sure the ribbon goes inside this pin where you took it out from, where it goes. Make sure it goes in easily. Just press it until that's the most it goes. Once you're done, just press it down. It should go down gently. Push it down gently. Make sure not to touch the screen, because if you touch the screen, it's gonna have finger marks, and just clean off with a towel. Don't press it too much because you could crack the screen. Make sure everything's just pressed down so it could from the screen. Once everything's done, get the screws and screw them back on. Once you're done with, once you're putting your screws down, make sure you have all of them and push. Make sure to tighten them the most you can. Don't tighten them. Don't over tight them because you could chip the screws. Just make sure they're kind of tight so it could press down the buttons and it should make them function, because they can move around if they're loose. Now make sure your battery latches up from your from the controls ribbon, and just slide it in and just push it down gently with your fingers. Once you're done, you need to connect your hard drive into the ribbon. Once it's connected, just slide it back in the cage and just face it down. Once it's face down, get the two screws and screw it on.